Each day, in response to rising interest rates, dozens of real estate YouTubers are forced into the shackles of overdramaticism. The telltale sign? The awkwardly distressed positions on their video thumbnail photos. The thumbs down, the shocked face, the face palm, or worst of all, the Kevin McAllister. But there is hope. When you become knowledgeable about the economic factors that influence the real estate market, you'll find it impossible to indulge in the antics of these YouTubers, putting them on a path to recovery. Now, these gloom and doom predictions can make a lot of sense at first glance. With 11 interest rate hikes by the Fed so far and interest rates above 7%, it's easy to imagine that the housing market would be dealt a fatal blow. But just because something is easy to imagine doesn't make it real. In this video, we're going to dive into the demand that keeps the housing market stable and better understand what we can expect from mortgage interest rates. I'm Lyra Martin, a Central Florida realtor with a medical laboratory background. My channel is about providing analysis and thought-provoking information. The goal is to empower you with knowledge about the market so you can build generational wealth. Millennials, which make up the largest population group in the US, are coming into their prime years of home buying. Younger millennials, aged 23 to 31, are getting into their first homes, and many elder millennials, aged 32 to 41, are either first-time or move-up buyers, needing more space for their growing families. This drives demand on a national level, but here in Orlando, demand is even more pronounced. We lead Florida in job creation, and we get an average of 1,000 new residents each week. This demand, coupled with the low housing supply, keeps our home values not only stable, but growing. But even still, there are loads of folks just waiting on the sidelines to buy right now, typically for one of two reasons. They either A, think it's too expensive right now to buy a home, or B, they already own a home and don't want to swap their low mortgage payment for a higher one at today's rates. Unfortunately, Group A will wind up paying more for a home and build less wealth than if they had bought now. I covered the math for this on a prior video, and I'll put the link for it in the description below. Group B describes approximately 26% of homeowners that are 50 years old. That's right. Currently, more than a quarter of homeowners under the age of 50 are waiting and planning to change homes once interest rates go down. So you can clearly see that there's another massive wave of home sales just hanging out on the horizon, which of course is going to result in further price increases. And we can already see the evidence of the pent-up demand. Over the last year, any time that mortgage interest rates dipped a little, mortgage applications surged, which brings us to interest rates and the million-dollar question, when will rates go down? First of all, you need to abandon any hope of seeing mortgage rates that are below 5%. Rates were already low before the pandemic, and then in response to the pandemic, we got to see the lowest rates in US history. It's not normal, and we can't hold our breath for it to happen again. Economists are predicting that the new normal for interest rates should settle in the 5 to 6%. But when? Well, here's some food for thought. The Fed has 3 available courses of action with respect to interest rates. They can hike them up, they can pause, or they can cut interest rates. As you know, the Fed has been hiking interest rates in an effort to slow down the economy and curb inflation. Inflation has been coming down nicely, but the Fed also pays particular attention to the GDP, because higher than average GDP growth will ultimately result in higher than average inflation. For reference, 2 to 3% GDP growth is considered good, an economy that's growing at a healthy level. According to GDP Now, we're currently at 4.9%. So as far as the Fed is concerned, the work of hiking interest rates still isn't over, although some economists do think that we're getting close to the pause stage. But what people forget to consider is that the Fed isn't just going to jump into the cut phase without taking a good amount of time in that hold and pause section. And nobody can predict the exact timing of how long it's going to be. However, historically, that phase tends to last somewhere between 5 and 18 months. During this time, home prices will continue to go up, as they have been, housing supply will remain low, and we still have that massive swell of buyers just waiting to pounce. So here's what we can predict. The folks that are trying to time the market are going to pay significantly more for a home later than they would now. Not only that, because there's going to be so much more demand in the future, Sellers will no longer be incentivized to give generous closing cost incentives or buy down interest rates for the buyers like they're doing right now. The buyers that wait are going to end up doing the Kevin McAllister. And not because the market crashed, but because they'll miss an opportunity. If you have any questions about the content of this video or want to learn more about real estate in Central Florida, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thanks for watching. See you next time.